This is the Tigers Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Detroit Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And here we go. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Riepma. A 4-1 loss for the Detroit Tigers at the hands of the Minnesota Twins. And count me in as one that was surprised to see this result. We'll go over it either way. Missed opportunities tonight for the Tigers. And Brand Herter continues to struggle. And struggle may be putting it kindly. We'll also get into one take I just got to get off my chest. We'll do that as well. Of course, we'll have our biggest talking point, our player of the game, and our turning point. It's all next on a live Locked On Tigers Postcast, which is your post-game destination, free and available wherever you get your podcast, and of course on YouTube as well, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day. I don't even have to ask, but I will. Go ahead and feel free to fire up the comments section. That's the beauty of doing it live. We hear your voice as well in a live Locked On Tigers Postcast, the post-game show of Locked On Tigers. Make sure you check out the daily show with Scott Bentley on Locked On Tigers, and do us a favor, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, Friday night, Comerica Park, divisional matchup against the Minnesota Twins. You got Sawyer Gipson-Long on the bump, and he pitched all right tonight, enough to, I would say, give this team a chance to win. When you look at his final line, 5 1/3, gives up the 3 earned runs, but the bats just did not come to play tonight for the Detroit Tigers, and that's where we begin our biggest talking point in tonight's 4-1 loss.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I think the missed opportunities is what I kept going back to in this one, and no bigger opportunity than that 8th inning when you go through that play-by-play of the 8th inning where, yeah, you do score your only run in that inning. However, have a chance. And I don't like the idea of, the offense not really coming to play until the 8th inning. Obviously, that's too little too late. But you get the Colt Keith triple with 1 out, then Gleybor Torres singling home Colt Keith. And shout out to Gleybor Torres, man. What an offseason acquisition he has been. And I know we've talked about that at length, but it's worth repeating. And then you get Zach McKinstry in there for Jones, and he does his job with a single. So now look at that, 1st and 3rd with just the 1 out and a couple of strikeouts. Disappointing because they're the 2 guys that you want at the plate in Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson. And, at that moment, it felt like the air had just been let out of the hot air balloon, and the Tigers could not muster anything else. And I know it's 1 of 162. I have to remind myself that as well, but it felt like, all right, we're at home, and you had the momentum from yesterday's day with Dietrich Enns and Zach McKinstry, and all they did to earn that 8-0 win over the Athletics. A little time off, a little day game into a night game, and it just wasn't meant to be tonight. So I don't have any, magic words or answers other than a team that you're far superior to in terms of win-loss record, and really just up and down this roster, you would hope for a better result. Now, those guys drive Mercedes too, and that home run, that home run from Byron Buxton, wow, that's about as much of a no doubt about her as you will see. I mean, I think it was all the way past that first section of outfield seating in left field, even beyond the bullpen area there. So, and that made it 2-0. And, credit the Twins for just kind of chipping away at this Tigers pitching staff with a run in the 4th, a run in the 5th, a run in the 6th, and a run in the 7th, just kind of death by a million paper cuts there, but they do enough to get the win. So let's go ahead and open it up to the comments section, because again, I didn't really have any major takeaway in this one, other than I'm done with the City Connect uniforms, I'll be honest. And I've been on that for a while. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see my Motor City Connect player jersey, Javi Baez jersey in the corner of the screen there under the Lions pennant, and my Texas Rangers bucket hat. I like to keep it keep it fresh in the backdrop there. We got Jim Leland bobblehead on the other side, but I have the Motor City Connect jersey there that my grandmother got me. It's a Javi Baez one, but tonight the Motor City Connect uniforms just drive me crazy. You got the best uniform in baseball, the home whites with the old English D and navy blue with the hat to match with the navy blue hat with the old English D. I mean, why change it, right? But that's neat. That's probably just because I'm in a bad mood after the loss. Let's be honest. Rodney Morgan says, send Parker Meadows down for a month. It worked last year. That's a good point. And he has been struggling. He was up with 2 men on again in this one, popped out. And another tough day for Parker Meadows at the plate, 0 for 4, struck out twice. But I don't know if the answer is sending him straight down to figure it out and get his confidence back, because he does so many things well to impact a game for the Tigers in a positive way that it feels like, sending him down might be reactionary. But at the same time, I hear you, Rodney, because it was a strategy that paid off last year. So I certainly don't hate that comment. It's something interesting to ponder. Thomas Rotondi is up next, saying the same thing. Please send Meadows down. Torque absolutely blows. Riley with a crap day at the plate, leading the majors in strikeouts. Please stop calling him a superstar. Thomas, you're down, my friend. It's Friday night. We got to pick it back up. Riley Green is an upper echelon player in this league. He's an all-star caliber player, and the high strikeout number certainly not great, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. But hey, that's what I love the instant reaction for. I'm never going to get on anybody for being passionate about our team. The dude is up next. I feel the Tigers make middle of the road starting pitchers look like all-stars. At times they do, but folks, my goodness, this is sounding like a 2024 Locked On Tigers postcast at this time of year last year, where we did have a lot to complain about. We did have a lot to grieve about, but my goodness, this is the Tigers team that's 51-32. Let's have a little perspective here. Still the best team in baseball. I don't think all of our players are terrible and they should all be sent down because you lose an opener to the Minnesota Twins. June hasn't been ideal, but let's make no mistake about it. Everybody would sign up to be here. And I'm fine with being critical, sure, but let's not be irrational, for goodness sakes. Demetrius McNeil is up next. Both Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson struck out in the 8th inning, and that's the game. Come back next game, and there's more bad news. Saturdays are not good for the Tigers. Yeah, they have oddly struggled on Saturdays, but day game tomorrow. Make sure you mark your calendars for that. I believe 1:10 first pitch, but we'll be on right after the conclusion of the games. Thomas with more. Thomas Rotondi. Meadows is trash right now. Drum is up next. Tigers need a power bat and a pitcher before they are World Series contenders. I would agree with that. And Alex Bregman, even though he turned the Tigers down in the offseason, may be the top target on the list during this trade deadline as we enter the month of July, if a deal is to be made. So it'll be interesting to see. I could find some forgiveness in my heart for Alex Bregman. And remember, he did counter an offer. So I don't think he was as anti-Detroit as everyone paints him out to be. And even if he was, get him here now and he can help you win a World Series. Like I said, I'll find some forgiveness in my heart. I can move on from that. And I know Bo Bichette was the guy we talked about earlier. I don't think that's as hot of a name. Now Nolan Arenado is a guy that's getting some discussion on the platforms, if you will, the third baseman for the Cardinals. So lots of things to keep your eye on as well. Calendar, so many terrible at-bats tonight. Boy, we are negative tonight. I know, I get it, and there's a lot to be negative about tonight specifically, but I might have to cut off some of these comments before we, that's what I said. That's why I love doing this live. We welcome in all comments. Just keep it, respectful and that sort of thing. So I got to be careful. Not all comments, but speak your mind, but have some awareness and a sense about it. How about that? There we go. This is from Mike, and this was on my list to get to. At least Brant Herter kept his streak alive. 11 in a row have reached base safely. Nice effort, Tiger hitters. Okay, a little sarcasm there. But yeah, this is not good. A couple of people have put this on Twitter, so I went ahead and bookmarked it, that Brant Herter's last 11 batters face. He's given up a double, a walk, another walk, a hit by a pitch, a single, a walk, another hit by pitch, a walk, a single, and he beaned somebody again tonight. So not great. Not great whatsoever. All right, we'll get to a few more comments on the other side of this break. We'll keep the lights on, and of course, we'll have our player of the game, our turning, and more on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. Don't go anywhere. It's the Locked On Tigers postcast. Hey, this episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute you want to head to a ball game with friends and family? Of course you have. Who hasn't? Maybe you were at Comerica Park tonight, but when it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands, that's where Game Time comes in, because my friends, they are the easiest and most effective way to grab last-minute tickets without any of that stress. With all the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. My brother was at Comerica Park with all his buddies tonight. My grandparents were at the game. I was jealous. How about that? And Game Time makes it all possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch. And they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guaranteed that takes the worry out of buying. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB, making it easy to browse the app for an exciting upcoming MLB game like the one you saw tonight that maybe wasn't the most exciting, but tomorrow will be. Make sure you get to the park tomorrow at Comerica Park Day Game. Don't forget. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Create that account and redeem the code. It's spelling out for you, LOCKEDONMLB, Locked On MLB, Locked On MLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Closing out your Locked On Tigers postcast with a few more comments before we get into our turning point and our player of the game. All right, MJ 1920. How is it that every other game it's 10 runs, then 0? We better figure this out. There has been a little bit of inconsistency indeed. I don't think we hit the panic meter yet. I think the All-Star break is on the horizon, a couple more series before that. Once we get to the All-Star break, a little time to refresh, recuperate, and that sort of thing. And again, it's one game. So listen, I'm as reactionary as anybody, but I feel like the sky is not falling. The sky is not falling tonight. Right. Kevin Jeffrey says Brdar should be joining John Brebbia on the beach. He probably will be. He probably will be. That's for sure. All right, let's do our turning point tonight.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
8th inning for the Tigers. They start a rally and do not finish it. You get the triple, you get an RBI single, and then runners at first and third with just the one out. And the guys you want at the plate are up. Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson, and back-to-back strikeouts ends the threat. So I was just probably as surprised as anybody to see that, but such is life in the major leagues some nights. So again, not to beat a dead horse, but you needed a big at-bat there from one of your guys, and you didn't get it. And the rest of the night, you could make the case that the plate approaches weren't great. There was just kind of a feel at the plate of a vanilla offense, and it just never materialized. And I'm saying the same thing over and over again, so I do apologize for that, but that's what happened. Tell the story. That's what happened. So back at it tomorrow, and let's get to our player of the game before we look ahead to tomorrow.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Oh yeah, I suppose we have to give David Festa. There it is. Sometimes when you do it live, folks, you just got to power right on through it. David Festa gets the win, 5 2/3, just 2 hits over the course of 5 2/3. Did not walk a batter, struck out 6, and of course did not give up an earned run. So I hate to give the opposition the player of the game tonight, but such as life when you lose 4-1 and you are dominated by the opposition starting pitcher. So back at it tomorrow. I mentioned the early start time. So I kind of like an early day game. Don't let this one linger, and get right back at it tomorrow on a beautiful day at Comerica Park, hopefully. And Casey Mize will be on the bump for the Tigers. Bailey Ober for the Minnesota Twins. Mize is 7-2. People kind of forget he quietly has an excellent record. Give him the win tomorrow, he's got the same record as Tarek Skubal and Jacob deGrom. That's kind of wild to say that out loud, but I know wins and losses aren't everything, but you got to be doing something right to have the same record as those guys. So that being said, hey, we'll look forward to joining you following the Tigers finale, or the middle game of the series, I should say, Twins and Tigers tomorrow afternoon, hoping for a better result than what we saw tonight. And a great comment here from Rufus T. Cat to close us out. I wish we had won tonight and not lost. Me too. And that being said, tomorrow's a new day. Let's hope for a better result. Thanks as always for tuning in. Make sure you check out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley, and make sure you like and subscribe. Tell a friend about this. We're getting closer and closer to 7,000 subscribers, but if we've got the best team in baseball, we need the best channel in baseball. So tell a friend, get them out there, get them on YouTube. Come on. I mean, it's free content. Who else would you rather listen to scream into a microphone than me after games and Scott Bentley every single day on the Locked On Tigers postcasts, or on the Locked On Tigers, me on the Locked On Tigers postcast? You get the drill. So talk to you tomorrow. Tigers, Twins, Casey Mize on the bump for the Tigers, hoping to bounce back and even the series. See you then.